Good morning. This is Matt Warren, and thanks for watching. What you're about to take part in is my first digital workshop. I'm going to try to walk you through it as if we're sitting in a workshop and give recommendations and suggestions. Feel free to stop the video at any time to go get something, but we're going to keep going for the sake of time. And at any time, you can email me at matthewtwarren3@gmail.com. And I'll be happy to send you the spreadsheets that we're talking about in the following videos. Let's get started. So one of the tools that helped me when I first got started with trying to track my numbers and get clear on my finances. Please tell me the top 2 or 3 current pressures. What are the 2 or 3 things that keep you up at night? Those are the things we probably need to talk to first and address, because it doesn't make any sense to work on other things that are maybe less priority if there are some major things that are keeping you up at night. So list out the current top 2 to 3 pressures, and that's going to help facilitate what we call a pressure relief group. And we'll get into more details in future videos. What is a pressure relief group? What do I need to have to prepare for a pressure relief group? And what finances should I bring to the table as I get ready for my pressure relief group? Then make an effort on this personal financial statement. And we're going to talk about that in a future video. That's actually the next video. I would highly recommend that the first document that you fill out or try to work toward is a personal financial statement. It lists very clearly assets, liabilities. If you're married, it helps to get clarity on if these credit cards are in her name, if these credit cards are in your name, or if these credit cards are in both, your and your partner's name. It's really good to get clarity on the assets, which assets are in your name, which assets are in your partner's name, him or her, which person has access to the assets and the liabilities. We'll get into how to do that in the personal financial statement video. Stay tuned for that. Things like life insurance and estate planning and notes payable, invoices that clients owe you, all that can be filled out in the personal financial statement. Stay tuned, and we'll address that in a future video. And then finally, that number in the personal financial statement gives you a net worth. It's good to have a net worth and write it down in your journal, because for me, that number is kind of like a flag in the ground. I don't want to go lower than this. No more. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm going forward. That's why I track my net worth, and we'll definitely get into that in a future episode. I would also suggest finding what we call an action partner. An action partner is somebody that you communicate with on a daily basis, sometimes multiple times a day. My action partner and I get together once a week, sometimes twice a week, Wednesday mornings at 6 a.m., Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. We get together over his place and we share actions that we're working on. We share what's going on in the day. You don't have to necessarily have somebody within your zip code like I do, but that's just a blessing that I've got. This person can be remote, and you simply text them and call them when there's issues that you have questions about, or just need to vent about something or run something by them. It's good to have somebody that you're helping and then they're helping you, and we call that an action partner. And we'll get into more of that later as we talk about bookending. What are bookends? What are some techniques that I use to bookend with my action partner? Stay tuned. We'll talk about that. The next item is to bookend 3 action items with somebody. I don't care who it is. It doesn't have to be a formal action partner. It doesn't have to be an accountability partner. Just tell one person, hey, I'm going to do these 3 things. We call them bookendings. I'm going to do these 3 things today to help my numbers. It could be, I'm going to track my income. I'm going to write down my expenses for the day. I'm going to keep track of my time for the day. I'm going to pull the files out for my credit cards and figure out how much I owe to who, anything. But just this is a program of action. It's a program of action. So I'm recommending that you send somebody a text that says, hey, I'm just going to turn over these 3 items that I'm going to do today. And as you do them, and I would number them: bookend 1, bookend number 2, bookend number 3. Bookend number 1, call accountant about taxes. Bookend number 2, call the credit card to get final balance. Number 3, close this credit card. Whatever they are, bookend them as number 1, number 2, number 3. It doesn't mean you have to do them in that order, but my recommendation is to do it that way, because when it's 3 hours later or 6 hours later and you complete one of those things, it could be call a client about an invoice, whatever it is about your numbers. As you complete one of those things, you simply text that person, bookend to checkmark, and send it. They know, they can look back and say, oh, he just called this client about an invoice. Oh, he just called the credit card about the final balance, whatever it is. But I'm going to ask you to write down 3 action items that you could do today, that you need to take action on, that you've been procrastinating on maybe, or that have just popped up that you need to handle today. The next suggestion for the newcomer would be to purchase a quality journal and pencil or pen. So I can't tell you enough how much I love Moleskin, Moleskin, Moleskin journals. You can go to moleskin.com and buy the journals. They've got different sizes, different styles. If you go to pathtowwarren.com, I share about the type of journal that I use, but it's the large version. Having a quality journal it looks good in meetings. You can keep everything in it. We can talk more about this when we talk about priority management and how to list out your goals. Everything for that day goes in there. Gratitude list, my daily spending and my daily income, all those things get written on that day's page of the journal. Every day gets a page in the journal. And then a quality pen or pencil. That might sound stupid, but something happens internally with me if I have a nice pencil and a nice pen that I've maybe spent a few dollars on. I write better, I write neater, I care about what I'm writing, as opposed to a random pen that you picked up off your daughter's floor that's been chewed on and the dog broke it in half. Invest in a nice journal, invest in a nice pencil. At the first opportunity, I would strongly encourage you to purchase a quality journal. In that journal, when you get the journal, one of the first things I want you to do is to write 10 gratitudes. So open up to the first page, put the date at the top. I like to put my gratitudes on the left-hand side, but simply number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, all the way down to number 10, and write, I am grateful for, I am grateful for, I am grateful for, and then fill those in. All of these issues and pressures and stresses around money, as cheesy as it might sound, if you take a second and write out 10 things you're grateful for. They could be general, they could be specific, it doesn't matter, whatever's relating to you. I like to start off my number 1 gratitude item as I am grateful for my sobriety and solvency yesterday. All we have are the next 24 hours. That's all we've got. If we focus on what just happened in the last 24 hours, let's say things that we're grateful for those last 24 hours. That's what I like to do. And then what I want to show you next is an action plan to financial peace. So this action plan is something that really I created early on in my need to get clarity on numbers. And I just want to walk through my action plan to financial peace And I really hope that it'll help you when it comes to writing down goals. There are certain things that have to be done before others, and it's very smart to list them out 1 through 7. These are mine. These are the financial peace action items that I started back in April 29, 2019. Number 1, save $1,000 into an emergency fund. I mean, this is basic. You might say, oh, I'm way past that. I've got $1,000 somewhere. No. I want you to take $1,000 cash and open up a savings account and put it in there. This is not under your bed. This is not on a credit card somewhere you think you can pull out $1,000. This is $1,000 saved in an emergency fund. This is going to help keep Mr. Murphy at bay when those surprises pop up. And we don't want to go debt. So in order to not debt, we need to have $1,000 starting off, baby step 1. Step number 2, we're going to pay all active debt with this debt snowball, listing them from smallest to largest. So what I would recommend that you do is to list out your debts from smallest to largest. This is what I did right here. These are the places that I owed, and I listed them from smallest to largest. Okay, we'll get to how to do that, but basically what we're going to do, just to give you a little teaser of what to do with this debt snowball, we list them smallest to largest. We make the minimum payments on all of them, but as soon as we can throw money at, like if we have any money at the end of the month that we can throw toward these credit cards, we're going to do it, starting with most of the money going toward the smallest amount first. We're going to make minimum payments on all of the rest of them. You can see here, this is the minimum payment. This is the extra cash I put toward it. It was mainly just to have nice round numbers. But I put a little bit more toward this Lowe's credit card that I had, and then the ending balance. Then what I did was I took this right here, I right-clicked, said copy, went over here on this cell and hit paste, and it spit out the same thing. I went through and I changed it. What I'm showing you here is this allowed me and my bride to pay down $60,000+ in debt over 15 months. And this is just kind of showing how I did it. This is month 9, and what you don't see here is I've hid, let me unhide this. I hid an item once I paid it off. Let me go back here. So once I paid off on this month in March, we paid off this City Advantage card. I crossed it through, crossed it off the list, and hid it. This was our accountant's bill that interest was not accruing, and I didn't pay it right away, but we did pay it eventually as one of the lowest items on the list. It took a little while, but 5 or 6 months in, we pay that invoice. But we're actively paying each of these and marking them off as we go. And what you'll see as we get to paying all of these off, once the final one's done, that's how we paid off all of our debt that was active credit card debt that was in both of our names in order to save my wife's credit as best we could. It's a way of tracking it each month. I didn't look at this every day, but when it came time to pay a bill, what did we pay last month? How much can we pay this month? What's the total? What's the balance? It really just helped me get clarity each month when it came time to paying down the debt. And I could watch this balance go down each month, 51,000, 44. It just gets smaller and smaller each month. Once we did that, when we're listing out the creditors, notice that I said smallest to largest. I did not say largest interest rate first. We get very confused in our heads when we start to do math on interest rates. The point is, when you start to knock off some of these smaller debts, what happens is you get momentum. You and your partner, or you alone, start to get confidence and momentum, and you start to get in a habit of paying these bills. And all of a sudden, you're throwing thousands of dollars at these bills. Again, don't list them by interest rates. Don't even have that in the formula. List them from smallest to largest is one technique to paying the debt. There's another technique I want to show you later that I learned after I'd paid off all this debt, that we'll get into that a little bit on a future video. What we're also going to do, we will stop all payments toward retirement, all payments toward anything. Once we've got the debt taken care of, that's the active debt, we're going to make payments toward our prudent reserve. So the prudent reserve it's recommended that we stockpile 3 to 6 months of prudent reserve. Through all of this process, I'm going to help you with a spending plan, a daily spending plan. I'm going to help you with the monthly view of a spending plan so you can compare what we did on a daily basis, add it up. We can see what we're spending on a monthly basis. We put the monthly into a system called the monthly dashboard. PRG dashboard is what I call it, the PRG monthly dashboard. It allows a view of everything you make, everything you spend, everything you're putting toward debt repayment, and everything that you're putting towards savings. So just stay tuned for that. That's a much further video, but we're going to go over that in a future video, because I think it would really benefit you if you knew that was coming, to stay tuned. In order to stockpile all of this money, all of the other payments have to be stopped toward everything else. Obviously, I don't mean stop paying your house, but what I'm talking about is once we realize how much money we spend every month, we can look at that and add it up and say, how much is that for 3 months? For me, it was $20,000. For 6 months, it was $40,000. That seems like a lot of money to start saving. We decided to save between 3 to 6 months, which is between 20 and 40,000 is $30,000. So we saved $30,000, and it took us a little under a year from the time that we paid off all the active consumer debt. And notice that my house payment was not in there. That's listing all the debts, smallest to largest, not including real estate or your house, if you have a house. That is strictly active debt. This is inactive debt. I owed my dad money from his loan that he provided me. That's inactive debt. It's debt, and you probably have some of that. I don't know, you might or might not, but most people do. They borrow money from an aunt, they borrow money from a grandparent or a parent or a neighbor. Hey, could I get $5,000? I got a great business idea, right? That's a lot of times that's inactive debt. I would strongly recommend that we take care of the active first, and then address the inactive debt. Coming up with a payment plan is what I did, which I'll go over later. And then these are goals for ourselves that we're wanting to do, but we're not going to start saving for our daughter's college. We're not going to start saving for a trip to Italy until we're taking off the top 15% of our income into retirement. you can see here, I started doing that January 1, 2021. These are just goals that I've got to help keep my, it helps keep the hope. It helps keep me getting up early in the morning to work on this. My wife and I want to go to Italy and Greece on a solvent trip where we pay for it with cash that we've saved. We've got about $5,500. I don't fill this out daily, but whenever, every month or two, I'll go in and update it so I can stay current on it. We're saving for my daughter's college. She's 9 years old now. We've got $40,000 that we've been saving. My goal is to have $100,000 for her when she starts college in 9 years. I'm trying to buy a small plane. We've got about $6,000 in there for that. Maddie's wedding. So my daughter's going to get married one day. So my wife and I need to start saving some money. I don't know how much that'll cost, but the point is these major items that we need to save for are listed in an action plan. I'm not going to start paying for or saving for certain things until other things are taken care of. And just, we've talked about it. We have an order on how we're going to start saving for those things. And then I'm going to pay off the house. Megan and I are going to pay off our home. We have that much money left, but it's just very clear on how much we have left. And you can see here, I've actually got it pulling from a spreadsheet. So it updates it. Every time I update our net worth and I put our value of our home and I put in there what's left on the home, it updates this for me. And then lastly, I'm going to build wealth. I want to own real estate assets that produce passive income, save our money, to have generational income to pass down to generations and give outrageously. My wife and I want to give to different charities that are important to our heart. So I hope you found that beneficial. In the following videos, we're going to talk about personal financial statements, how to fill that out, what does net worth mean, how do you get your net worth, how do you list your assets and liabilities so that it works in this Google Sheets document. If you're interested in the Google Sheets documents, you can email me at matthewtwarren3, the number 3 @gmail.com. Again, that's MATTHEW, T is in Tom, Warren, WARREN, the number 3 @gmail.com. After the personal financial video, we're going to talk about a daily spending plan. What does that look like? How do I use the daily spending plan with my journal? What process do I go through when I'm filling out my daily spending plan and my spending journal? Which one do I do first and why? I'm going to show you how I track the net worth over time. I'm going to show how in my spending journal I list my goals, how I prioritize my goals. We'll go over that in future videos. Lastly, this PRG dashboard, it's a key part. It's kind of like the grand finale. Once we do all this work, once we do a personal financial statement, once we do a daily spending plan, once we get our groove going on a spending journal, on a spending plan, then we can put it into a monthly review. And it all starts to make sense because we're able to show people, whether it's our accountant, our attorney, our spouse, our parents, whoever we are, owing money to, we can show them, hey, after my income and after my spending plan with my family to provide food and shelter and transportation and all the things that we need to spend money on, which are all listed right here in these categories, I've got this much money, whether it's $200 or $2,000 left over at the end of the month that I can put toward my debt repayment. And the monthly PRG dashboard shows the debt repayment schedule, and I give some solutions on how do you pay that. There are multiple ways of paying debt, and we'll go through that. But you can't talk about the debt repayment until you know how much money is at the end of the month. You know, if we're not making enough or we're spending too much, there's no money to pay the debt. And then lastly, the savings plan, the monthly PRG dashboard shows the last part is where we get our hope. That's where we have a clear vision of how much money we're going to save, what is the ideal amount that we'd like to have in our daughter's 529 plan, or, you know, real estate investment number one, that's going to be worth $500,000, or that car or that plane or the cash in the prudent reserve savings account. You know, how much do we want that to be? Do we want it to be $100,000? Do we want it to be $50,000? There's a place to put that, and that's in the monthly PRG dashboard. Don't get overwhelmed. We'll cover that in a future video. Stay tuned. I hope you found this beneficial. Don't go anywhere. Check out the next video. Thanks for listening.